joining us now, co-host of the Mind the Game podcast, and also senior advisor, I believe, for the Phoenix Sun, an NBA Hall of Famer, multiple-time MVP, 18-year vet, ladies and gentlemen, Canadian Steve Nash.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, sorry you had to catch the tail end of me saying that we need full-time refs over here. Do you have any answers for the NFL? We need to figure it out.
Well, I thought the front toward or back toward was an important topic this morning. Like that's a tricky area of debate here. Like I'm not, I don't know like what I would choose. It's tough.
So have you ever on a sideline, maybe on a bench, because things are tight there, on your guys' NBA benches, they're tight. Have you ever had to do the, excusey? You ever have to do that? Did you do butt down? Did you do face down? What was your move, Steve? I don't know what's Canadian.
I tried to go neutral, neutral right between, not front or back. Just how can I, weave my way through here? Definitely, yeah. Front, back, it's kind of awkward.
Get thin. I understand what you're saying. Congrats on another season starting. You're also doing coverage for Amazon, I believe. Let's go.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Thank you. Excited.
Yeah, what does that entail? What does that mean? And what has been happening to lead up to this moment to launch off with Amazon?
Yep. So Amazon Prime's NBA coverage starts Friday night. We have the Celtics and the Knicks, Lakers, T-Wolves. We'll be in studio from LA. The great Taylor Rooks, my buddy Dirk Nowitzki, Blake Griffin, Udonis Haslem, and myself will be in studio for those two games, pregame, halftime, postgame. Great crew, super fun to work with. We've had rehearsals, we've had seminars, we've done a little bit of prep, and everyone's just excited. For me, it's fun because we get to hang, like just watching games together, talking about the game, being together, great chemistry. I think we can really develop a fun show, and I'm excited to kind of get into your world a little bit, Pat.
Yeah, well, you've been in our world, and we know that if you were to get into anything that we do, you will dominate it. We watch you do a lot of things in here, and you were great at all of them, including house and wine. I mean, that was an incredible feat as well. But speaking of our world, the media world, for us, it feels like we're back in the locker room here. Like, I think if you were to ask D-Bud or AJ or any of the guys that come through this show, Coach McCarthy, BA even a little bit, we have like a sense of community and we all love ball. When they say retired players, kind of transition into real life, they miss that feeling. We have that. I'm excited for you to have that. But do you also appreciate the fact that the NBA right now has so many of the ex-GOATs, I mean, yourself included now, being a part of it, being a part of the coverage? That's good for the game, ultimately. Do you agree with that?
I think it's great. I think people are going to be a little uncomfortable to start because now all of a sudden we have two new rights holders in Amazon and NBC. We got obviously ABC and ESPN. So there's going to be way more games than ever on national TV, which I think is positive. You're going to have way more talent, former players. I think it's going to be a really interesting landscape. But it's going to take a minute for people to kind of change their habits and know what nights are we on Prime, what nights are we on ESPN, what nights are we on NBC. But overall, it's going to be a big win when everyone kind of figures it out and realizes we got a lot of great ex-players talking about the game, sharing their experiences, and highlighting what a great league it is right now.
A lot of games. We had a full conversation with Adam Silver that will be airing in about an hour and a half or so earlier this morning, and just talking about negotiating and kind of transitioning into this new media rights deal with streaming and social, and obviously still having linear games. I think it's great for the NBA. Also great for the NBA, I think, the style of play. What have you seen by the style of play seemingly last year that's going to carry into this year that maybe is different than 5 years ago or 10 years ago, if you had to describe it?
Yeah. For sure. I think we have this kind of debate, I think. The start of last year, ratings were down. People were complaining about too many threes. By the end of the year, the ratings have never been higher. The playoffs were exceptional. We had, as everyone complained, no offense to your home team, but there's two smaller market teams. Oh. It was unbelievable basketball, unbelievable series. The whole entire playoffs just had an incredible viewership. I think the game's in an incredible place. I think you do see some teams, some of the poorer teams perhaps, they take a lot of threes. They take a lot of poor threes where they don't touch the paint. They don't create good looks because the variance of shooting threes.
Oh, no, poorer. That's what he's talking about.
The way they play the game, the way they defend together, the way they move the ball, touch the paint, get threes. I think that's what's, makes this game so beautiful because it's kind of become, instead of like being super predictable, dribble down, throw it in the post, run a set. Now it's kind of more jazz. We're reading and reacting. We're trying to knock the first domino down, swing the ball. Someone attacks a closeout. Now we're playing basketball together and how to read and react rather than it's just going into the post to this guy and, 9 guys are standing and looking at him. So I think the game's in a great place with the pace, the space. The good teams are defending together on a string because you have to defend more space now, right? Guys are shooting from farther out. We're playing quicker in transition. So you got to get back. You got to cover guys in a lot more space, makes rotations longer. Teams are making decisions. Should they get in the gaps, take away the paint? Then that opens up the backline rotation. So I love the evolution of the game. I love where it's going. I think it's a lot of fun to see how coaches and teams and players continually adapt to try to get an advantage.
Yeah, I love listening to you talk about basketball, brother. I think you know it a little bit. Yeah, you should maybe stick to it. I think that's something. Soccer player though too, right? Good soccer player.
Love me some soccer. Growing up, my mom and dad are from the UK. Grew up playing soccer. Still watch a ton of soccer. Still play once a week. I know you got some soccer skills, Pat.
Yeah, you turned us down for TST. Remember, you're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on. You're supposed to be on Concave, Steve. You're supposed to be on.
5 kids, Pat. 5 kids. I can't just fly across the country,
Hey,
for a little soccer tourney.
Not just good at soccer and basketball. 5 kids. Whoa. Delivery man. Okay, D-Bud has a question for you.
Hey, Steve, the NBA landscape has kind of changed now. Not as many super teams, as we would call it. With a couple stars like the Lakers, the Mavs. But what was it like for you? I know as a player you had to do it, especially those Suns days with Stat and the Matrix, those superstars. But, like, you were head coach of the Brooklyn Nets when they had James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. What's the toughest challenge when it comes to managing, like, multiple, I guess, alphas on the same squad?
Well, clearly, when players they've built, there's ego is good and bad, right? And you need an ego to get to the top, but you need to always have it in balance. When you have 3 guys that have made it to the top, that demand a lot of it from themselves, yeah, at times it can be difficult. You expect that, though. But I think our biggest problem in Brooklyn, and is why the game is changing a little bit, is that we were always injured. Of our 3 stars, they played 16 games together in over 2 years. So I think because of situations like that, we're seeing the league go away from 3 stars and go to more depth, like getting guys 6, 7, 8, 9 who can make threes, defend their position or multiple positions, can make a play when they get a closeout, they can drive the ball and make the next pass. So for me, I think the 3-star thing, if you don't grow it at home through the draft and build your team that way, I think teams are a lot more reluctant to try to go pick off 3 free agent superstars because you need depth. And if one gets injured, everyone else on your roster is such a, I don't want to be mean, but is a way down in quality. So now you got guys stepping up, having to play roles maybe they're not necessarily able to do. So it can put a lot of strain on the team. So I think we're seeing a lot of teams. You saw it in the playoffs. You saw how deep the Pacers went. Shout out to Rick Carlisle and Lloyd Pierce. I think they gave guys an opportunity to develop and play that maybe a lot of coaches wouldn't have given that much rope to. And in the end of the day, those guys took them to Game 7 and they had a chance to win, especially if Tyrese didn't get hurt. So growing your depth, developing players, getting a deeper bench has become really much more important nowadays than trying to pick off 3 stars.
So it's a team sport? That's crazy.
What the hell?
I didn't know that. I didn't know basketball was a team sport. I thought
we may have forgot for a moment, but it's back to being a team sport.
Okay. I'm happy we all did forget that for a moment because it felt like that whenever it was being talked about and maybe even watching it. But to your point, we went deep on the roster and the New York Knicks just refused to do so for so long. So back-to-back years, we just kind of ran them out of the entire play. That's basically what we did. I mean, we ran you guys out of the gym.
Got Tibbs fired.
That's fired.
Didn't play his bench.
Now, Tibbs, great work over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough place to coach.
Helping out Boston now.
Yeah, especially, exactly. So tough stuff over there. But,
Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah.
New York Knicks. And they fire him?
Yeah, but Pacers.
Go win the big one.
Yeah, big bad Tyrese Halliburton's howling out there. He's doing some gardening in Madison Square Garden, brother.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and also it does make sense, especially for just sports in general. Like, okay, this guy's good, but not great. So let's get out of here because we might be ass, but it's better than where we are now in the Eastern Conference Finals. You talked about Tyrese getting hurt in Game 7. Let's just make sure we understand whenever we're on a microphone talking about stuff, we talk about facts. If Tyrese wouldn't have got hurt, he had 45 points that night. It's going to be a triple-double, and the Pacers are going to win the title. And Tyrese goes down as one of the greatest players in the history of basketball because of the playoff run. Just so you know, Steve, we saw what was going to happen, okay? Just as you know. On that note,
Noted.
About talking about games and players. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Steve, loved how you said basketball is like jazz. My GOAT, Michael Scott, views the game the same way. When you're commentating for these games, during the pre-show, the one, we all know is the TNT show. And, I mean, we see it Shaq and Chuck do not hold back. They will bury anybody and anybody to their face, and also will admit when they're wrong. Have you thought about that? How you're going to approach talking about these superstars, most of whom you've worked with, and you have been one in the NBA when you were playing? Like, how do you kind of approach that aspect of it when Kevin Durant or James Harden or Kyrie Irving, who they gave great answers about the Brooklyn Nets debacle on starting five, but have you really thought about how you're going to talk about those types of players when things aren't going too well for them?
I'm going to kill him. I honestly, like you brought up Chuck and Shaq, and I mean, I think the biggest thing, you guys would know this, you got to be yourself, I think, on TV, and the audience is only going to want to hear from you if they feel like you're authentic. So we're going to all have to find our voice, find that chemistry. That show has been gold. It's been entertainment. For us, we're going to probably take a slightly different direction just because of the personalities. I think, maybe part of us would be more analytical, breaking down the game a little more. But like Udonis Haslem, he is a straight shooter. He's gonna give it to you exactly how he sees it. BG, obviously Blake Griffin, a super smart player, but also super funny.
Very funny.
So Dirk barely speaks English, so I will figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go.
Good talk just the whole time. That'd be incredible. Can you speak German?
I know a couple cuss words. That's about it. So.
Ein groß Bier bitte. Okay, we know that one. One big beer, please. Let's see, Donka.
Of course.
That means thank you. Dirk can't. That's anytime you get a non-English.
Was ist das?
Who?
Was ist das?
This man was born in Germany.
What is this?
Was ist das?
Close enough. My dad speaks German.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
What's no?
I think yeah. Nein. Nine is no, I think, as we're getting through. Sorry, Steve, do this on your show. They're going to love that. Now, we are very pumped for you to be on television because I think you're going to be fair, but also the way you talk about the game is different than just like branding and shit like that. You actually talk about some substance, which leads to this. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Steve, as a guy who is from Canada and then, played in the United States in college and then obviously in the NBA, when you look at guys like Wemby and I guess SGA to some degree too, and like much, similar to you, he played at Kentucky, so he kind of gets it. But are you surprised that we're having as many of these international guys come in and kind of just take over the league right away? It doesn't seem like, I feel like when I was watching a long time ago, like there was a period of time there where it was kind of you and Dirk carrying that international torch.
Yao.
Yeah, Yao, exactly. But he was, not sustained like Steve and Dirk, and it seems like several of these guys are, what do we have? 5 international players in the top 10 of the NBA right now. Like, does that surprise you how good these guys are and how quickly they're this good in their careers?
Give you your to further your point, I think it's the last 7 MVPs have been international players. Yep. So it's a global game. I think that's the bottom line. As the game's grown around the world, the leagues become more popular. The league inspires the next generation. And then we also got to take our hat off to places around the world that develop talent. Like the European countries do an incredible job teaching guys the game of basketball. I think we do more of a volume job. We got a lot of people playing. Obviously, there's some great coaches, but AAU basketball, take it or leave it, some of it, it's not all great. Whereas they have a club system in Europe that really hones in on fundamentals. It's not all just roll the balls out and play. Now, I don't want to be unkind to all those great coaches there are across the country, but the system doesn't allow for as much coaching as it does playing and marketing players to get college scholarships or NIL deals or whatever it may be, or to fund an AAU program. So the system's just set up different. So I think that's one of the factors. A lot of talent in the United States. A lot of people love the game. A lot of great coaches. But the system, I don't think, is as efficient as a small club in Slovenia or Croatia or Spain that's really honing in on details, teaching the game, and giving guys an opportunity to really develop.
They're all smacking the wood, huh? Is that what you're saying? They're smacking the wood, bopping the wood?
Just getting down, smacking the wood, playing D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're bopping that wood there. Yeah, bopping wood. You guys love bopping wood in basketball, don't you? That's kind of a part of it, especially international hooping.
I'm going to stay out of that one. But that was good.
I'm talking about, fundamentally sound
bopping a wood.
Bopping the wood. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. That's what you're saying these guys are doing, bopping wood all the time. Not just some of the time. There's a different level of bopping at different places. And that type of fundamentally strong bop is better than just half-ass bopping all the time.
Yeah, nobody likes that.
Celtics preach. You got to eat wood if you want to win games.
Yeah, Missoula's all about not just bopping, but we're eating.
Exactly.
We're getting out there.
Relax.
It's about the wood, bro. You know that, Steve. Basketball, all about the wood.
I learn something new every day.
You're the expert. You get on
not
TV. We shouldn't be teaching you that this is a wood thing.
I'm not. I stay out of that wood zone.
It's a good play.
Yeah, because you don't play anymore.
Yeah, you used to bop the wood.
Yeah,
though. So
you used to
good.
be the
I
king
remember
of the
you,
wood.
Yeah, you used to be all over that wood, dancing on the wood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'd be dancing on
Tap
the wood.
dancing on
the
the
wood. Yeah, it looked so smooth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you remember every once in a while we get a cool little Steve Nash kick of balls on wood.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Now we got balls on wood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what we're here for. All right, Steve. Coach BA, our coach, has a question for you.
Yeah, Steve, I'm being a big Suns fan myself, being out in the desert for 5 years. What's it look like for our Suns this year?
Good question.
Well, it's a great question, Coach. I think the first thing we would say is it's a cultural reset. They swung for the fences the last few years, didn't really get far in the playoffs. Decided to kind of reset the organization. So they have a rookie coach, they have a rookie GM, and trying to really just create an environment where players feel like they can get better, they can develop an identity, and also just without assets. The Suns don't have their own draft pick for years right now. You got to develop some players in house, and you got to develop a style of play and try to be better than the sum of your parts. So it's been really exciting to see Jordan Ott, our first year coach here. He's created an environment where all the players are working hard, they're competing, they're combative, but they feel like they have an opportunity and a path to get better. So that's all you can do at this stage or arc of development. And I think for the Suns right now, they're controlling the controllables. And I think win, lose, or draw, it's going to be a team you're going to be proud of watching, and they're going to surprise you a little bit because they're going to be super competitive. They're going to share the ball. They're going to play hard. And I think the Valley will really enjoy watching them play.
God, I love that city
Great.
over there. I love that city over there.
So nice.
That place is so beautiful, man.
I mean, the arena.
The arena is so beautiful. I mean, everything about that place is awesome. I hope both the football team and basketball team get very good before my wife and I and family move out there. Sure. That is what we are. That is what we are hoping for. Before we let you go, and we appreciate you stopping by, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. TV. Wow, we're doing it. Rushmore on X dropped this morning, our 4th episode, and this week was Dunkers. And Shaquille O'Neal, Reggie Miller, Ari Emanuel, and Ben Persky put together their Rushmore of dunkers. Each person individually put together their top 4 dunkers of all time to start the conversation. Then they have to come together to get a final 4. Here's Reggie Miller's Rushmore of dunkers. First thoughts as you look at this, any obvious omissions that you would put in there? And how do you feel about the 4 that Reggie brought into the convo?
I actually really like that. I would have had Vince, MJ, and Dominique in there. Zach, though, super worthy. I mean, crazy speed off the floor, incredible dunker. I like Reggie's Rushmore. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not the person that should be given any. LeBron. Okay, I'm going to say LeBron obviously has some of the biggest ones. He's very strong.
Sean Kemp. Hey, man, yeah, he was nasty.
I think Kenyon Martin's name was mentioned.
He is power dunker.
I mean, Shaq himself.
Shaquille O'Neal was on the show, and I'm not sure, how that whole conversation went with him, especially Reggie going, "You broke how many backboards? Don't care. Okay, you don't make my list here. We got the human highlight reel here, brother. If you want, so who would have been your 4th? You don't have to give a 4th. Actually, you're not on the show.
Well,
Don't feel obligated.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't do my prep work on the Rushmore dunkers this morning, but I mean, Zach's great. LeBron's a great call. LeBron, like in transition, was just a train. Like there was no getting that back in the bottle. You're just getting dunked on. So that's amazing. Dunking's different, right? Like it's a mix of things. Like Shaq can dunk on the whole team, but he's also bigger than the whole team. So sometimes it's like less impressive, even though he just did something that no one else can do. Whereas like Zach LaVine, being 6'4",
Bingo.
Yeah, Spud Webb. So I think it's like, Nate Robinson. Like it depends. You're talking in-game dunkers. You're talking guys that like surprise you. You're talking, maybe we value bigs like Shaq who are unbelievable, just getting offensive rebounds and punching on someone. So I also give a little shout in-game dunker to my guy Amari Stoudemire, my pick and roll partner. He definitely caught some bodies when we played together. Incredible hands, incredible feet, could take off. And what a pick and roll partner for me, or in transition. You just throw it anywhere. He's going to go get it and put it down.
You guys were fun to watch out there. I remember those. The highlights were obviously epic. I don't know if I was watching the games live. Go ahead, BA.
Where's Dr. J?
Okay, so
The king of the the man invented it.
yeah.
I mean, if anything, Steve's partner in crime, going forward, Boston Celtics legend Blake Griffin would be one that should be on there.
Yeah, because he jumped over a Kia.
We with a choir behind him.
Yeah, we watched him jump over a Kia when he was doing it. That's why the show is wild, because everybody's making an argument for who they think, and they start telling stories. It's like a great history lesson of dunking this entire episode, available now on X. And Steve, I thought you did an incredible job with Mind the Game podcast, and going to continue to do that. I think you're going to do incredible with Amazon, man. We're pumped you're in the sports media world. We're thankful for that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, Pat. That's nice of you to say.
All right.
Good seeing you guys. Hey, by the way, just seeing the studio, I feel good. I had my best shooting performance in over a decade in there.
Boom.
I'm kind of sad you didn't roll the tape though.
Well, I don't think we had it on
Thank
film.
you,
We only had
Steve.
pictures. We only had pictures of this. Steve.
It's a studio, Pat. Like the camera's always. What are you doing?
You're right. You're 100% right. You, even from the warm-ups, just
3 bottles of wine.
yes, yeah, probably 2.5, 3 bottles of wine.
Yep.
Do this with I don't know. I haven't shot. Splash from like 3 feet. Okay, let's back up 6 feet. I don't know. Splash. Okay, 8 feet. Boom. One more. Yep, I'm pretty good, I think. Go to the corner. Splash. Splash, 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 splash. Let's go play defense. Okay. Now we're playing defense underneath.
No miss?
No miss.
None.
Didn't hit the rim.
Splash, 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 splash. Dude, it was the quickest.
Sight lines in the dome.
What's that?
Great sight lines in the dome.
You felt good in there, huh? Felt short.
Felt good.
The hoop looked very big to you. I mean, it was unbelievable. You and Tyrese both. Tyrese, I guess.
Yeah.
Sight lines is all that matters. You guys are pretty good at what you do.
2-time MVP.
Yeah, all right. 18-year NBA vet. I remember when I learned that on camera. You're the best, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Nash.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them down, try to wear, pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm a